Learning Zili Nishmas Etta Ahuva Bas Yaakov Masechus Eduyos Perikei Mishna Yomi. Akavi b'mahala hayed arba dvarim. Akavi b'mahala said Eduyos on four things. Amru loy Akavi chazar b'cha barba dvarim sheisa imer. The Chachamim told him, you should be chayzer. Benatza Av Bezdin Yisrael. We'll make you an Av Bezdin to Yisrael, because they disagreed on what he said, so they were trying to get him to be chayzer. Amar lahem Akavi said, Mutav li likari shaiti kol yama. I'd rather be called a shaiti all my days. Uleila asa sha'achas Rasha lifnei amakim, and not to be for 1 second a Rasha in front of Hashem, that to be chayzer. Shalo yoimrim b'shvil shirara chazar bi. So people shouldn't say that I was chayzer in order to get covet. What are the four things? Hu haya metame sar hapekuda. Akavia held that a sar pekuda is tameh. The Mishnah in Nigam Perik Hey Mishnah Gimel says, Ezehu sar hapekuda. What is a sar pekuda? Misha hisaboy baheres kigris ubashtei ubasar lavan. Someone who had a baheres, and inside of it was a sar lavan. So at that point it was tameh, because a baheres with a sar lavan is tameh. So bitziras. Holcha ha-beheres v'inicha l'seir lavan b'mekoyma. The beheres disappeared, but the seir lavan was still there. At that point, it would have been tahar. So there's a dispute among the mefarshim whether a kohen was actually metired at that point, but it would be tahar. The chaza, and now the beheres came back. So Akavi b'mahala held that it was tameh, because since originally it was tameh, so now the seir lavan is also tameh, because the beheres is back. However, the Chachamim held that it was tar, because the Rav says, because the Chachamim held v'hi hafcha sar lavan. If there's a sar lavan, means shahavchasehi v'loi shahavchasei chaverta. This is not the same beheres that was here before. The sar lavan in the first beheres was taka tameh, but now it's a different beheres. So now the sar lavan is going to be tar. That's the first memra of Akavia, that he held sar pekuda is tameh. Dam hayarik. The second thing is he held that if a isha sees dam yarik, then the isha becomes tamei nida. Tosfos and nida on daf Yutesam Abayz says hayarik hainu ke'esek, that the yarik we're talking about over here is yarik ke'esek velo yarik ke'karti, and not yarik, not green like a karti. The inzet noita lad mumus, because that doesn't look like red. So why was Akavia metame over here? The Gemara over there asked v'lesle Akavia damer that there are only a certain amount of dam nidas, and this is not one of them. So the Gemara says two pshatim: either iba yisema lesle, he doesn't hold of it; iba yisema isle. But the same way we say over there that black is tameh, because really it's red, and it just turned black when it became older. So to over here, it was really a tameh of red, and then it was milky udalaki. Something happened to that shade, and it turned into yarik. Therefore, it's really dam edim. The Chachamim and the Chachamim held their tar these two cases. The third case is Hu hayamater sar bechar b'amom shenosher v'niach b'chaloin v'achar kach shafte. He held that if hair came off of a bechar b'amom, so then that hair is muter b'hana when it came off mechayim v'achar kach shafte, and now he shechted the bechar. The Chachamim ois and the Chachamim held that it's asa. So this is brought down in the Gemara in Bechayres Tav Chav Hey Mebeis, and the Gemara over there says b'shem Reish Lakish the machlokes b'shehatira mumcha. We're talking about that the bechar, the mum of the bechar went to a Talmid Chacham. The Talmid Chacham said, the mumcha said that it's a mum, and therefore you could have hana from it. But Akavia held that, the Chachamim held that since we're afraid that a person's going to, if we allow him to have hana from this hair which came off mechaim, a person's going to keep his bechar alive, a bechar ba'mum alive for a longer amount of time, and he's going to come to actually shear it off, and that would be aser. So therefore, even the hairs that came off mechayim, because of gzeira of dilma mashiluhu, so therefore they said that this hair is also aser bahana. However, the Kavya held that since it was hetira mumcha, since we're talking about a case that the mumcha was matir, so there's no chash of dilma mashilu. The fourth case is Hu hayoimer ein mashkin es loyes hagiyaris v'loyes hashivcha mishuchraris, that a Kavya held that the din of meisaita is dafka by a regular bas Yisrael and not by a giyaris and not by a shivcha mishuchraris, even though they're now Yisraelim. But he made exeris hakasiv. Rashi in Brachos Yutesam and Aleph says Bnei Yisrael is lafuke eishes hager ve'eved mishuchraris. And the Chachamim Maimer and Mashkin, the Chachamim held that no, the Parsha of Seita would apply by a Gieres and a Shifcha Mishachres as well. Amruloi, the Chachamim said, Maisa B'Karkamis, there was a Maisa in Karkamis. Rashi over there in Bracha says either it was a Shem Makom or the Shem Isha. Shifcha Mishachres Shaisi B'Shalayim, B'Shku Shmai Vavtalion. You see Shmai Vavtalion, even though it was a case of Gieres, they gave her the Meisaita, so you see that Meisaita does apply by Gieres. Amar Lahem, so Akavya said, Dugma Hishku. So this Machlekes Rashi tells us what that means, Dugma Hishku. Rashi says that it means that just like Shmaya Vavtalia were from Bnei Banav Shel Sancheir, that they were Gerim, so too they gave this Isha who was a Ger, they held that she could have Meisaita. And that's why, we'll see in a second, that's why they put him in Cherim, because that's it's bizayin to Talmud Chacham to say such a thing. Taisus over there says that Dugma Hishku means that they didn't give the actual Meisaita, they gave Mei Tseva, and therefore they were only doing it they also weren't Meichik, the shame on it, and they only did it to scare her. So according to that, the Taisus Yantav says that the Nidui was either because of the same reason as Rashi, because Lamaisa they were saying that they did it because they were Gerim, or because they were afraid that people were going to be Mezalzel in the Meisaita, because they did it in this case, so they're going to come to do it in other cases as well. So Mishnah ends off, Omar Lahem Dugma Shku, V'nidu, they put him in Cherem, they put a Kavi in Cherem, Umeis, and he died, B'niduya V'sakul Bezdin Sarein. Omar Yehuda, Chas V'shalom, that they put a Kavi in Cherem, Shakavi in Nisnad, Chas V'shalom, Shakavi in Nisnad, Chas V'shalom, they put a Kavi in Cherem, Shein Azar, and Elos of Nekal Adam B'Yisrael, B'chachma B'yira, Chek, Hakavi B'mehalo. When the Beis HaMikdash was full, from one end to the other end, and Akavia was one of those people, he would be the greatest person in there. So it's impossible that they put him in Cherem. Who did they put in Cherem? Eliezer ben Chanoich, Shepikpik b'Taris Yadayim. He was Mezalzel in Taris Yadayim, Shemeis, and when he died, Sholchu Bezem, Menich Evan Alareinim, Alamid Shkom Etnadam, Meis Menidu, Yoseikin Sarenai. That was the case that they put in Cherem. Mishna Zayin, B'Shas Misasei, when Akavia was Niftar, Amr B'noi, he told the son, B'ni Chazar B'cha Barba Dvarim Shisi Yomer. These last four things that I just said, that I wasn't Chayzer, you should be Chayzer. Amr Loi, so the son asked him, how come you weren't Chayzer? Amaloi, so Akavia said, because by me it was, I heard it from a Rav, and they heard it from a Rav. Aval Ata, by you, you only heard it from me, and I'm a Yachid, you also heard from Pir Reuben the other way, so you have to go basa the Rav. So the son said, Abba, when you speak to your friends about me that I should be chasher by them, I'm not speaking to them. Maybe you saw something wrong with me. Is that why you don't want to speak to them? So Akavia told the son, Lav. The mice of a person will make him close or far away, and there's nothing to do. I'm not going to speak to them about you.